Today we're doing Module 5, Lesson 12. And as you know, we've been working to find the area of rectangles. Now, what types of strategies have we used so far to find the area of a rectangle? In Lesson 5.10, what strategy did we use? Jack? We did not use area models in 5.10. What did we do in 5.10? Look back at your math notes. Danielle? We used tiles. Remember those yellow tiles we used? And then we drew them? We covered rectangles using tiles, and sometimes we had to cut the tiles to have a fraction of a tile, right? Then in 5.11, what did we use, Jack? Area models. There you go. Today we're still finding the area of rectangles, but we're measuring the lengths to find the areas, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take the ruler and you're going to identify which side is the inch and which side is not the inch. Okay, we're going to use the inch side. And you are going to measure to find the dimensions and label the dimensions. So let's do A together. Here is A. How wide, or what's the length from here to here for rectangle A? 2 what? 2 inches. So let's label it 2 inches. Okay. Now let's find the length, the other side. Ooh. What do you guys think? Is it more or less than 2 inches? Okay. Is it more or less than half an inch? 2.5. It's less. But it's telling us to measure to the nearest quarter inch. So here's 2 1/4. Here's 2.5. Here's 2 3/4. So what is it closest to? 2.5. 2.5. So let's label that 2 1/2 inches. Okay. Now I'm going to switch back to the projection. Now my projection is obviously not to scale. On the board, this looks much bigger than 2 inches and 2.5 inches. But I just proved to you on my book that it was, right? So you should have labeled it now 2 inches and 2 1/2 inches. Now, how does it tell us to find the area? To use a area model. How can we split this into a whole number part and a fraction part? We should have 2 and 1/2, right? So we're going to split it one time like this. And you label it 2 and 1/2. Now, does the other dimension have a whole number and a fraction part? No, so we only need 2 partial products. How can I find the area of this part right here? What are the dimensions? 2 by 2. So the area is 4 what? Square inches. Very good. What about this other part? What are the dimensions? 2 inches by 1/2 of an inch. So the area is 1 square inch. So all together, I have to add up my partial products. I have 4 square inches and 1 square inch. So if I do 4 square inches plus 1 square inch, what's the total area? 5 square inches. And then we'll box our answer. Okay. Okay, so when we measured rectangle B, we found that the dimensions were 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Now, let's split that into an area model. What would be the whole number part of 1 3/4? 1. And what would be the fraction part? Okay. What about the other way? Same thing, right? We have 1 3/4. Okay, so let's find the partial products. The area of this part right here is 1 by 1, right? So 1 times 1 is 1 square inch. Okay. What are the dimensions of this part right here? 3/4 by 1. So the area is 3/4 times 1, which equals 3/4 square inches. What about this one right here? What are the dimensions of this guy? Is it 1 by 3/4 too? So that's 3/4. And then finally this one, what are the dimensions of this guy right here? 3/4 by 3/4. What is 3/4 times 3/4? 9/16 square inches. Okay, so now that we have our partial products, 1 inch, 3/4 square inches, 3/4 square inches, and 9/16 square inches, we add them all together to find the total area. So we have 1 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 9/16. We're going to need a least common denominator, aren't we? What's the least common denominator here? 16ths. Okay, so we have 1. Now 3/4 is the same as how many 16ths? 12/16. Okay, so we have plus 12/16 plus 12/16 plus 9/16. What is the answer there? If I have 12/16 and I add another 12/16, how many 16ths do I have? 24/16. If I add 9 more 16ths, how many 16ths do I have? 33/16. So here I have 1 and 33/16. Can I simplify that? Are there any holes in 33/16? How many holes are there? 2. So I have 1 plus 2, which is 3. And then how many 16ths do I have left over? And what should my units be? Square inches. Very good. Doing this, we can see that we can measure to find the dimensions, and then we can use what we know about area models to find the area. Yes? Very good. And as you can see, the directions for number 2 says to find the area and explain your thinking using an area model. So here what you have to do is you have to sketch the rectangle yourself. For number 2A, it says that the dimensions are 1 foot by 1.5 feet. So you're going to sketch a rectangle. And you're going to label it 1 foot by 1.5 foot. Now, if I want to make an area model, how can I split up the dimensions? Well, I have 1.5, right? So can I split that to 1 and 1/2? Now for my other dimension of 1 foot, do I have to split anything up? Nope, because I only have a whole number part. I can find the area of this part by multiplying 1 by 1, right? Which equals 1. And then over here, I have 1/2 by 1. So I find the area by doing 1/2 times 1, and the answer is 1/2. So my partial products are 1 and 1/2. So if I add my partial products, 1 plus 1/2, I get a total area of 1.5. And what would my units be in this case? Thank you. So my answer would be 1.5 square feet. Number 3 says, Hanley is putting in carpet in her house. Okay, so whether you knew that or not, houses don't come just with carpet. You have to put the carpet in. Okay, she wants to carpet her living room, which measures 15 feet by 2 1/3 feet. And she also wants to carpet her dining room, which is 10 1/4 feet by 10 1/3 feet. How many square feet of carpet will she need to cover both rooms? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is identify what is the question asking. Sonia? Okay, so go ahead and underline that to be a good mathematician. What important information do we need, Michael?
We need the information, which is that the living room is 15 feet by 12 feet, and the dining room is 10 1/4 feet by 10 1/3 feet.
Very good. What's step 3? We need to draw and label some diagrams or models. Good. So let's first draw her living room. It's a rectangle shape. And her living room measures what feet by what feet? Everyone? 15 feet by 12 1/3 feet. Okay, this is the living room. Then she also wants to carpet what room? Dining room. Good. That's also a rectangle. And it measures 10 1/4 feet by 10 1/3 feet. So how would we solve this problem? Could we draw area models for each of these and find the area? Could we find the area of her living room? Could we find the area of her dining room? And if we add that together, could that tell us how much she needs? Very good.